All right, hello, and welcome. Happy Thursdays. We are here for another Eversio game. We desperately need a win. We are one is to four at the moment. So let's see if our heroes in blue can catch a win. Joining me today will be Nano again, as Cardonakas was not available. Hello, Nano. How are you doing today?
Let's go, Eversio.
Yes,
Yeah, let's
hashtag
get a fuck.
Everwin.
Let's get a win. Let's get a win.
We
We
really
are
need one.
due for a win. We are due for a win. We had a few unlucky games, and I think we just need like I said last time. We play a bit consistently. We play these champs that we like to play, that we know how to play, and we just win. Gosh,
Let's
I
hope
am.
we can pick up from where we left off. We and secure a victory today. It's still gonna be a hard match. This is Division One after all. I'm glad we actually did take a match in at some point, and we almost had a good win against the third team we faced. But sadly, it was not the case. A lot of things are being analyzed, and we're learning as a team. Eversio is still growing, and I'm pretty sure it's all the better for them. Today, I believe we will have Drakur joining the team. Starforger was not able to make it today. So we will have Drakur in mid lane, Brikur in jungle, Aeglos in top, and Iconic and Awaken in bot lane. Who have been already performing really well. Iconic is already on the chat here. What do you think, Nano, about our chances today? Do you know Gucci by any chance? Or any of their players?
I am not fully aware. I had a quick look yesterday. Uh, I think it will still be a tough match. This is Division One. I mean, you do expect tough matches in Division One. It may be slightly more forgiving, especially if maybe the draft goes a bit differently than Venom Crests. I don't think there is a chance. I think every single game which I've seen of Aversio play, they've always had a chance. It's just that small thing that kind of throws things out of balance and it just kind of cascades.
True.
Uh,
Small mistakes, especially the higher up you will go against better and better teams, it genuinely is gonna be that changes the outcome of a match. Small little things. Yeah, if you were to tighten them up and maybe play a bit more aggressive at some points, you can definitely secure more wins than taking it passively, or wait your turn before dumping it all in on every single objective, which is what we've seen in the last match.
yeah, I mean, it's like you're saying. It's just these small sort of like optimizations that can be done here and there, sort of not letting the enemy get these advantages. I think also playing the strengths of team comps is maybe something that can be done a tiny bit better. This from last game specifically. But I think honestly, yeah, like I'm saying, we win these. If we play a clean match, I think Aversio can win. And I've been saying this, I think, for every single game they've played in the UKL.
Yep. Sorry, I'm a bit speechless as I'm following the chat. We might get the draft starting already, so let's see how long it's gonna take. It should be very soon. Yeah, I'm aware the title is not accurate. I cannot change it sadly.
Ah,
If somebody is available that can, please do. Oh yeah, we need your help.
any mods? Any mods? Mod check. We need someone to change it to good chi.
Yes, I will ask. Maybe we can help.
I think one major drop change I'd like to see is, Juan Starforger. He's known for having a bit of a champion ocean. I'd like if maybe the mid lane champion is picked a bit later into the game, even just to sort of support who we're going to be playing towards. Uh, like we did last draft, with the last pick connecting, it was a bit awkward, especially due to the way that connecting functions, and the fact that we picked Azir early, and Azir isn't really a champion who can, sort of like push and help the jungler, who maybe can then sort of help these side laners who may need a bit of propping up in the early game, or like assurance, where like we're sure that these champs are gonna win, we're sure these champs are gonna get ahead. And yeah, I think the smallest but maybe biggest impact would be maybe picking this mid laner a bit later into the game. Although I will say from what I've been seeing, support is a really important role. Uh, who would have guessed? As we do actually have the draft starting.
Yep, as predicted here, as in something that was expected from Eversio. Corki is being banned, he's a very strong champion and iconic pilots him well. Yon for Drakur and Vi for Brickun. This indicates that they will go for that Maokai first pick. Now let's see what Eversio have planned for it. It is something they have thought about. So let's see what their choices will be. What do you think, Nano? With the Maokai, this will be probably jungle. From what I understand, Gucci do like playing Maokai in the jungle. Any idea maybe what we should take here?
So if Maokai does have a chance of going into the jungle, I mean, there's something to be aware of is that, of course, you do technically have the chance to flex it top and even support. Maokai, of course, is a pretty strong top and he's actually a pretty underrated support. I'm not too sure about his effectiveness in the jungle. I feel like Maokai, especially with the way that he wants to build and the way that he wants to function in the jungle, is not exactly the best champion. I think there are definitely counters, especially in Brickun's champ pool, where you can sort of lock them in and play around Maokai, as we do actually see Syndra Shinzao. Uh, so this could be good. It really depends on like what we're going to be playing around the side lanes for the Shinzao. I think Shinzao can function into Maokai. It's a bit. It could be a bit feast or famine, but again, it really depends on what we're gonna pick with the rest of the team comp.
I'm not a big fan of it because if Zinzao goes in, Maokai has a very easy answer for it with his Q, and he also could potentially out-sustain him in the mid game. But earlier on, Zinzao could find a bit more aggressive plays, especially here. Gucci go for Azir, but a very safe mid laner, but will take time to ramp up. But we've seen how effective Azir can be. I'm curious. They also double down. Okay, they don't go with small there.
We will not see triple scaling. I was gonna say this could be an easy mid-game stomp from Eversio if the right champions are picked. Gucci probably realizing that as well, saying, "Okay, maybe we don't go small there. maybe we go Varus, have a bit of early mid-game presence. That could have maybe cost them the draft, if not a large part of the game." I'm curious what the Eversio responds with here. Like, we do have the Maokai, we have the Azir, we have the Varus. Now, we picked the Syndra. Okay, we're gonna go with an Ezreal, so we're going for this sort of, like, mid-rangey comp with, like, decent poke and good catch. That's a bit... so you can play around it. Of course, the Maokai and the Azir do have really solid disengage with both their ultimates. I am curious what we will see support for the side of Eversio. I'm not sure. What do you think should fit support here? Because I'm trying to like factor in the.
We'll wait. We'll have to wait and see. I think something that can pressure mid lane would be something nice to have. They have a very nice stun lock combination with Syndra and Zinzao. Maybe something to either help them in the front line or buff Zinzao. Personally, I think Senna would be really cool here. It kind of fits the niche, and he can also gank mid lane. They have a lot of lockdown between the three of them. Varus is a poke champion, and Senna can also heal his poke, and Ezreal can trade. Into Maokai, it's a bit not great because she doesn't really have the best escapes, but her E does make it very hard for Maokai to get his W off as well, because he cannot actually click on the target. So Senna fits my opinion. But I do trust what the Eversio are going for here. It's very nice to see Zinzao maybe starting objectives, and then you have like Ezreal Syndra guarding it. I'd imagine they want something from top here to match Zinzao's type of energy. I like something like maybe a Camille could help Zinzao here. Iglos does like to play that. Let's see here. Darius is banned, and so is Camille.
Gwen could also fit here now. Am I wrong?
Gwen is pretty decent here. Azir can mess with Gwen a bit, I think, with his ult, but they went for Bard over Senna. I mean, it kind of accomplishes the same thing, but maybe with a bit more mobility and a better engage. So I like the idea here. You have that poke.
I think that is the same. I think Senna, like you said, may have give them a slight advantage, especially with the way that it interacts against the enemy champs. But like you're saying, same idea, same way it functions. We're seeing Heimerdinger being hovered. Is that a Heimerdinger top lane?
I'd imagine this would be support if oh no. It's Cassante blind here. Okay, so Eversio leave that R5 here for the top lane. Let's see if Iglos goes for the Nectin again, because it was the pick he chose last time, or if he decides to go for the Gwen. They do have a bit of mixed damage, but Ezreal and Xin Zhao are gonna be mainly AD. They do want something that can go in and enable Xin Zhao here,
Like
or
I'd say
maybe
is a
help him.
very good answer into the Bard and the Ezreal. I think it makes quite a bit of sense. And I think it functions really well with the rest of this comp. So that's a, I think, pretty solid response by Gucci.
Yeah,
Uh,
if Pike can play
I think
this, it's very strong here. Yeah.
after you mentioned it, so of course it's more mid lane, but honestly, Kale could also slot here. But I think Gwen, to more fit into Iglos' champ pool, I think fits really well. As we will have GP, uh, I'm not too happy with the GP. I don't think it fits
Or they have sort of a
um
poke comp, right? So
amazingly.
it kind of fits
It
that
fits
niche.
well with the Polka, I guess. It
And
does.
he's probably comfortable into the Cassante. But this Pike into Bard, it's gonna be very tricky because Pike will essentially try to match Bard's roam. He has equal sort of levels of mobility differently placed around their kit. And I think Pike will outdamage this Bard earlier on, or the supposed receiver of the gank. He also brings maybe a bit easier CC and a lot more forms of it. With Maokai, Maokai, he doesn't really deal the most damage, but he can enable these ganks. Getting this damage across with Pike and Varus, it's a good choice. They didn't go for something a bit more supportive here. They would have had a bit of a problem in the damage department. But here Brickon could match Maokai. He could get his ganks off. He could also try getting some dives off, perhaps if they can manage something here. I can see them ganking top lane earlier on and maybe focusing a bit on that. Bard is really a bit hard to gank for, including Pike and Varus. I kind of see bot lane being a bit equal there. But it's gonna be mid and top lane that I would imagine Eversio play around. So let's see what Brickon chooses here. Any ideas on this draft, how you would see it play out, Nano?
I feel like Eversio was pretty strongly winning it with this mid-game skirmish comp, especially when Celtic Sixante locked in. If we put Gangplank as a sort of like assistant poke, and maybe in a way it also helps cut them off with the ultimate. Hell, I mean, you could also argue maybe a good placed Raise Morale ultimate with the move speed could also be useful if this game goes really late and he gets his third Silver Serpent upgrade. I feel like it has a function. I think it does work. Although, now that you have GP top, like we're saying, the Shinzao is kind of going to struggle a bit on where exactly he wants to gank. So he can gank mid. Of course, he does have the layered CC with the QE from Syndra. But then again, Azir has a really good escape. Of course, you have GP, who has decent damage and a pretty good slow. But then again, it's into a Cassante. And so I feel like the Shinzao is going to have a bit of trouble if this Bard does not help him actually ganking places, especially in the solo lanes. I do think that the Versio has slightly won the draft. I'm going to be honest, I'm not a fan of the Maokai jungle. I don't think it makes sense with the rest of the draft. I feel like he would have accomplished the same thing with like. Let me think a
Yeah,
bit. See what we have.
I talked to them and they seem convinced it's a very very strong pick at the moment. So I'm not gonna doubt them if that's what they think about it. Then we'll have to wait and see. Hopefully though they did plan accordingly and they do know what and how to play around it or what makes it strong. Especially since Gucci did respect here and did ban out that Vi, which I assume they did, thinking that Maokai will not be the greatest into it. And if you see it like that, I mean they have a lot of champions that would go down against Vi. We're talking Pike, Varus, and Azir. Can all have trouble into her, and Maokai is gonna build HP naturally, and Vi does HP damage. But Xin Zhao, especially if he goes Eclipse here, I think it's a really really strong choice. If he can do a lot of damage to Maokai, he can then heal up later. The problem is in a professional setting, games typically don't last that long. So getting Eclipse early will deal a lot of damage, but he will also be lacking in health and being able to stay up and active. And they don't really have a front line at the moment. So Versio kind of really need to play with good vision, early aggression, and be able to poke out before starting objectives, before they themselves get low HP, enough for Gucci to engage. They have nice long range engage, especially off vision. So they have that Maokai ult, they have the Azir ult, they have Varus for follow up. Even Pike to some extent could engage on anything that is caught out. So Eversio really need to play this carefully. They have a good setup here, good poke, nice ability to pick out someone. So they need to play deep into enemy territory, find that pick, get the pick, get out, poke if needed, and get the objective. It's quite an intense form to play League. I think Gucci's comp is a lot easier to pilot in this scenario. The only major difficulty here I see from Gucci is more gonna be Pike, and if he's able to match the Bard, as the remainder of the characters can play relatively safely and get to that point where they can have this fantasy of waiting for Eversio to start an objective and then trapping them within that objective. So yeah, I hope Eversio can, you know, get ahead a bit earlier and basically poke them out if needed. What do you think, Nano?
Like you're saying, I mean, this Shin Zhao needs to get ahead. If this Shin Zhao falls behind, the game is not going to last long enough for him to actually start building his HP items. I think an Eclipse Rush is sort of mandated here. I think if you go any other item, you're gonna be lacking severely in damage, especially to their front line. And without any real frontline damage outside of Gangplank or Syndra when she scales up and gets her splinters, I mean, it's going to be a bit of a slug to get through. The Shin Zhao does not get ahead. Like you're saying as well, I mean, you need good team coordination. You need good vision. It's not a case of having it is helpful, unlike the side of Good Chi, where maybe having good vision here is able to sort of ward off Shin Zhao and bar drones. For Versio, you need it. You need to play well. You need to play. Uh, I'm not going to say pixel perfect because of course no game has to be played pixel perfect, even if it's the last game of Worlds. There's going to be mistakes. Uh, but it's going to have to be a very tight knit game from Eversio if they want to actually score a win with this comp. It's definitely not impossible. I think it is Eversio's games to win, but it also means that it's their game to lose. So we'll have to see how they function. If the game does, of course, scale into this sort of like mid late, with the Gisante getting his items, Azir getting his items, and Maokai maybe becoming a bit of a threat in the sense of his tankiness with the Pike resets, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for Eversio to sort of close out the game. So, I mean, we're going to need to expect some really good teamwork and some really good grouping, roughly 20-22 minutes when about the second item is finished, but we'll see. Uh, Maybe the virtue of the game of professional games not taking too long will work in their favor due to the way that they've sort of put their comp together. But yeah, I mean, it is kind of anyone's game. We'll have to see exactly how both teams play it out.
We have to trust that Awaken can land a really nice Bard ult on either Varus or Azir. If either of these go down, I think Azir more than Varus, to be honest. It could be a lot easier and gives them breathing room to get these objectives. Eversio basically are desperate to get a pick before the objectives start. If not, I think Azir and Varus can also trade a bit before the objective alongside Syndra and Ezreal as well. And it does help Pike maybe start off with a reset. It's yeah, it's like always in these Division 1 games, I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a good game. Um, the yeah, if we do get the win here, I'm expecting Eversio to be like on top of their stuff, like you are saying. It's gonna be hard to take down Cassante. The only way you do that in this setting is by being ahead, or trying your best to avoid him, until potentially you can try a match with Gangplank, or maybe if Cinder has enough stacks. We'll have to wait and see. It is Drakur back on the old team. So in terms of how you say, like, familiarity, they're definitely a bit more at home here. Iconic only being the one out here, which is a bit new, but he is doing really well in his respect, especially alongside the Weekend. They've been really performing well in the bot lane, so this should be quite a strong version of Eversio as well. I haven't really seen them stick consistently to the same group for some games, so I do hope that this is messing with their rhythm.
Hope that they're able to have good team play because I think this game's going to demand that they have good team play. Like you're saying, I think if Awaken sort of channels his inner Hylissang and gets a crazy 3-man ult catching the Varus and maybe 2 other members, I think it could honestly decide the game with a follow-up by the GP and the Syndra. But yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tad tricky. It's going to be a tad tricky. Uh, we'll have to see exactly what happens. I think incredibly early on, we probably should not see the strongest of aggression happening bot lane, as we do actually see iGloss opting for Comet on GP. This is something I've been seeing here and there, where actually most GP players, if they want to be super aggressive in the early game, are actually opting to go Comet. So, I mean, we may very well see an early roam from the Bard to the top lane, hoping to get this GP accelerated and into the game as fast as possible, as we do have a pause.
So yeah, apparently the minimap is very green. Is that a thing? It's like some
Uh,
common bug that's going on right now.
I've never heard of that one before, but honestly, I mean, I wouldn't bet it past right to have the minimap just be green.
Oi oi oi. Hard no.
Average Rito games.
Yep. So minimap has trouble. I guess
New new Maokai passive makes your minimap green.
maybe that's the reason. Huh? Oh well. While we are here, yes, I'm so happy we're back. It's gonna freeze up again. Don't panic. That's normal when it pauses, and we should get going here. So Chi opting for this level 1. Eversio did put down the ward there, as you can see on the map. So they will be aware of it, but Chi also have the trinket here. So they're not gonna be wasting time. Going back to their 5 point, we already see Shin here, which is Cassante, crossing the river, attempting to go back into the top side. Awaken does spot him, and we can already see Brickcomb placing himself in the top side enemy jungle. Iglos could potentially follow here, could potentially get some damage across on this Cassante. He's already at about 2/3 health thanks to some poke. Let's see what they do. Brickcomb does drop the ward, so they will have that early game vision. A lot of wards being dropped here currently by Eversio. I'm curious about the Iglos ward drop there and their topside tribe rush. Not really sure what that accomplishes when he's sitting there, but it is dropped nonetheless. And yeah, let's see how it goes here, starting off in this game. I expected to be some action here around mid and top. Bot lane, you know, apart from maybe level 1, 2, I don't really see that much aggression going there. Unless the spike just happens to pop off. It's a very aggressive lane if they can get the damage across. And Pike does seem itching for it at the moment. However, Ezreal in his own right is a very strong level 1 champion as well. Bard can get a very strong stun as well, so let's see. Jungler is patting to bot, and this does potentially prove that the first damage here will be on bot lane. So let's see if Brickcomb does rotate for it. We also see Maokai here skipping his dread buff, so he could potentially be looking for this bot side gank. Great flash there by Ichari. Does take down Awaken, sadly. Awaken did try to flash, but he does get caught and ignited. The kill going on to Maro, the virus. What do you think about this position here? We might get a regank from Brickcomb into the bot side. If Pike and Varus stay here for long enough, Awaken will be here to sort of return the favor. Are you still with me, Nano? Hello? Alright guys, we might have lost Nano. I'm not too sure what's going on with him. He's muted. Okay, my apologies. So I will carry this until Nano is back. So yeah, Brickcomb is still parting here. Maokai is now returning in the top side, and he does seem to find Igros on the return here. So he might get a nice little gank off here on Iglos, especially since they thought he started top side. I'm not really sure if they noticed his kind of path. He will end up in top lane. Brickcomb is here in the bot side. Relatively slow clear speed here with 340 on Scattered. Could have been faster here, but Maokai does find Iglos in return. Sadly, this could spell doom for our favorite top laner, and it does seem like it is the case. The kill dropped here. Maokai does pick that up. We do see an attempt at an invade here from Braccoon on the enemy red side Raptors. Now, Gucci don't know about this, and their bot lane is playing very aggressively. We might get a nice little gank here off by Braccoon, but the Pike is starting off his queue. The engage starts off here. A lot of damage coming on Awaken from the tower dive. Sadly, no follow up there. They're just gonna take the virus. Very low, forces the flash here. Braccoon, still aggressive. Has to flash his own, a Spike does hook him in. We do see Drakur here chilling in the mid lane. Same CS here as the Azir. And Braccoon is still around. This could mean that they get the gank off here. Maokai does have his recall. He did get the Aegis there as the first recall, so he's gonna be relatively tanky. Braccoon does desperately need to recall off his own, but Awaken is quite low. A dragon is spawning soon. Gucci do make an attempt here to take this dragon in response. Doesn't seem like Eversio will have the tools to be able to contest this objective. But Braccoon now finishing his recall. He is quite strong. He could take these top side camps and maybe help Iglos in the top lane. Or he could look to maybe go help out in Dragon, but it does seem like Gucci would probably be able to take this. Let's see. Nano, are you back?
Yes.
Alright.
Sorry about that.
Welcome back.
Go for a second. And I mean, from what I saw, I mean, this is exactly what I was talking about. When you pick these early game comps, they are incredibly hard to pilot, and you have to go for these kind of crazy plays where you need to go for these maybe less than guaranteed kills. But if it backfires, I mean, you're going to have a lot of trouble. Of course, a Drake has been traded over to Chi. It is not the end of the world. Of course, one Drake, especially one Ocean Drake, is not going to cost you the game, but Ocean Drake specifically will keep them topped off with just that tiny bit of HP, which could mean the difference, especially when we're playing, or at least trying to play this sort of tight-knit game, where both teams are sort of trying to make sure one gets an advantage and the other doesn't. It's a bit rough. It's a bit rough, as we will in fact also see grubs being given to Team Chi.
So Braccoon was already on those and he did manage to take one, but Gucci rotated their bot lane into mid after taking that Drake, while Azir did go bot lane. It does give them an extra man here, so it was easily forced off for Braccoon. Meanwhile, Drakur there forced to flash the spike, landing all his CC, really making it hard here for Eversio to breathe in the early game, as opposed to Awaken. He's finding it really hard to play off this bar and get those ganks in. The game is really fast paced here for Eversio at the moment. We are 1k down, not really a big difference here, but these objectives will slowly start adding up, especially meaning that our first items will be completed a bit faster here on Gucci. However, good to note, we do have a CS lead here in the top lane, a slight CS lead from mid lane as well on the side of Eversio, which is a great sign that we might not be delayed on our main items, on our primary carries here, Drakur and Iglos. Let's see what the next play is.
It is in fact those 1-2 items for those side laners which will make the difference. As we do see, it does seem like GP may be going the Trinity Force build, again just making sure that his 1 and 2 item spikes are as strong as possible. As we may see some fight here break out bot lane. Koenig is forced to flash out, does manage to escape. Fan1 does engage, that will be feats for the side of Chi, as Awaken does go down, but Bricko managed to score a kill back on Ikari.
Man, it is scary seeing that Varus be 2-0 here. Varus, of course, is the main sort of link that Gucci does have from their early to their mid to their late. If that Varus gets ahead and is able to bridge that gap, I mean, it's unless Eversio can find some way to shut him down sooner than later, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard for them to actually capitalize on this 1.5 item spikes that we were talking about. As we do see top lane, we actually are going to go for a collector after Sheen. So Iglos going fully into the early game, just making sure that he has as much power in this early game as he can. Yeah, I mean, Brickcoon being a kill up does help. It helps quite a bit. But I think Awaken's going to have to start roaming soon and trying to find these opportunities mid and top if we are going to see, I mean, hopefully the comp playing to its best.
Oh yeah. I'm not really sure if I saw that correctly, but Fan 1, the Maokai might have gotten away just because of that, of the portal. So a bit of an unlucky moment as well, in that sense. But yeah, Brickcoon being kill up is really good. He's gonna be closer to that Thunder Sky. It does seem like a straight up unending rush here for the Maokai. So it is an option here, of course, as in the jungle, Armor Magic Resist do help you get your clear off. For those that don't know, the jungle pet deals more damage based on resistances as well. So yeah, Maokai looking really strong, matching the Xin Zhao space. Let's see with these grubs spawning now second, Drake will be spawning at approximately the same time. This could be an opportunity to start an equalizing point. Issue is, I'm not really sure around who we should be playing here. We could potentially play around this Syndra and maybe getting Ank off on this Azir. But we do send the Varus and Pike once again mid, so if we can find the Spike, that could be really huge just before the fight. Let's see. Gucci are prioritizing those grabs, and it seems like Brickcoon is first on Drake with Iconic rotating soon. So there we go. We are going to trade these objectives. 5 grabs though for Gucci. They're going to have a strong pushing power here. But meanwhile, Eversio do pick up pretty good Drake there. The I believe it was Mountain it's Hextech Drake, sorry. It's going to be attack speed and cooldowns all around.
Very close for Igloss. Very nice flash. Manages to toss out. I think this may be a 1-for-1 top lane. Well played on Igloss. Barely is unable to dodge that charge Q from the Pike, but he does manage to trade 1-for-1, barely not getting a 2-for-1. Mechanically, I mean, he is performing. It's just a shame that he gave over that kill early game. CS-wise, of course, he is ahead. I mean, it still is, honestly, anyone's game. Yes, objective-wise, they do have 5 grubs. They don't exactly have the best champions to utilize grubs. Sure, they have the Azir, sure they have the Bears, but I don't think they can, either of those can realistically sideline and try to get these towers. We may see an early game group to try to maybe force down mid tower, but I think that just works in the favor of Eversio, where maybe the Syndra can sort of stall out until he gets his items. If I am Eversio here, though, I am still quite afraid of what this Varus is going to do. Yumus is now complete.
Tier is stacking. Unending the Spear Rush, actually, for the Maokai. Choosing to not go for the Fated Ashes, so his clear will be a bit stunted.
Nah, that's fine.
But yeah, I mean...
That's not gonna make a big difference, because the pet still does damage. It's
that's fair.
I understand the tech behind it. As you can see, he's on par with Xin Zhao, and you get to have a Maokai with Unending Despair first, so I think it works out pretty well.
Does work out as we may see. Brickcoon possibly going for a kill on Shin. W barely does not connect. Ikari does try to land the Q, does not land it on Iconic. 3 people bought, they may be looking to dive, but Awaken is here. He does have ultimate available. Fate's Call could be the difference between a win, a 1 dive, or a lost dive, so we'll have to see. Man, if there's one thing I have to say about Igloss's build, I understand he's building for this mid-game spike, but the Collector early here does not really function that well into how much armor this Cassante is stacking. As we do see, Power 1 is going for the ult. Awaken does actually throw a preemptive ult, basically saying, hey, Chover, if you want to jump in, then you're going to have to get caught out. Chover respects this, walks away, and they do at least prevent the dive. I'd say that's probably a small win for the side of Eversio. That's not realistically a fight they want to take.
Oh no. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty well. It's very hard for this bot lane to play it out for the next couple of waves. Until the Ezreal recalls and Akone gets his Trinity Force, we do see the Varus completing his Yomu's Ghost Blade. Even the Pike is gonna be very strong on his own, especially with Ignite and finishing his Umbra. So a lot of damage coming out from this bot lane, especially a single target.
If I'm Eversio, I think I need to get the Syndra ahead. I think that the Syndra may play the glue, maybe with a solid follow-up after a Bard ult. If the Syndra has damage and the GP can sort of help finish it off or even start it, I mean, it's yeah, I think Syndra's your major out here. I'm a bit scared because, in my opinion, I don't think Eversio are playing as aggressive as they should be. Yes, of course, they did fall behind, so you naturally don't want to snowball that into just continuously losing objectives. But at the same time, this is the comp that they have picked, and they do need to try to find some good picks. As the Pike might be caught out here, Ikari does not have E, and that is a kill. It does go for the Brickcoon. That said, another kill on the Shinzao is always useful. Shinzao opting here for the Sundered Sky Rush over the Eclipse Rush. Sort of reasonable, seeing how the game was going early game, thinking that, hey, I may need the extra HP more than the damage I get from Eclipse. As you do see, Iglos getting engaged on by Shin, but this GP is a tiny bit immovable, even by Chovi's favorite, Cassante. Yeah, I mean, hopefully, I guess the main goal will be, can we start to find these small picks? As Awaken does seem to have actually picked himself out here in the enemy jungle. Azir ult barely lands, and that's going to be a kill over.
I'm not really sure what the idea behind that play was. Very, very far away from his team. So it was kind of odd from him as well. He's kind of a very consistent player all the way through in general. Hard to see him do a play like that. So I'm not really sure. I hope there was a grand scheme of things. I'm pretty sure there was an idea behind it. So yeah, let's wait and see what happens after that. Both junglers are going to be finishing their jungle item just about here. We do see that Cassante rushed the Sunfire Cape. Not really sure if that's a necessary thing. But similarly with Iglos here with the Collector, he's still going to be finding it hard to face off this Cassante damage. And
this may just very well be a solo kill.
Yeah, very quickly actually.
Fun one, possibly caught out. Ooh, the Q from Cinder barely misses, but it will be a kill over to Iconic. Kill on the Ezreal does certainly help here. This possibly could be Chover caught out. He does flash the Q. Meanwhile, Brickcoon is trying to zone out their bot lane. They may be able to walk it out. The Pike does not have ult available. Brickcoon deciding to die so the rest of his members can live. And hopefully, I mean, they can either play this mid-range. We do see Shin just aggressively walking up. And he has corralled them into their first tier tower. Maybe not a fight that exactly Shin wants to take, as we do see Iglos TPing in. He is coming, he does get stunned. Scatter the Weak does land, does stun Shin. Iglos is here now, but this fight may already be over.
Yeah, it's looking rough to see our heroes in blue go through this process, but they do have a good control here over the jungle. Oh no, Colin gets hooked, out. But he does almost get the playoff there against the Chimaru there, the Varus. Sadly,
Came for the misposition, but it is respectable. He did almost manage to do the 1-for-1. Mechanically, I think he did play that well. It's just a bit the positioning. He was a bit off and did not respect the Pike Q.
Yeah, must be a bit stressful as well to play at the moment. There's a lot of things going on, and maybe they expect him to do more, but there's really no need to rush. All the items are equal if they take a quick second to check. They might have now they are down about 2.5k. It's really not that bad. They can still find fights. It's really about the mental and trying to play to your strength here. Varus though completing his second item, he will be a bit of danger. But if they can avoid him for the time being and try to pressure other sides of the map here, it could be a strong idea for them.
Varus opting from ahead to actually go for the more damage item Manamune rather than something defensive like an Edge of Night could be the difference between them finding a catch. Like right here is G Mario ults backwards. But it may, honestly, the threat of a fight here is probably enough. They don't really have a chance to go in. As Chover does TP in. No TPs are available for the side of Eversio. Brickcoon is trying his best. He may be able to find Chover. No ult is available. He will go down. Ichari, meanwhile, Iglos, 1Q, does manage to pick it up. Iglos flashing the Azir does manage to get out as well. Brickcoon, meanwhile, battling out with the Whimsical Tree. Will he be able to just walk away? He does, and this is a 2-0 for Eversio, and that is what you want to see. A very nice pickup of kills.
We should have just instantly started the Herald following that, but okay, instead we're getting Drake, which is fine as well. We do have Iconic shoving down this mid lane, almost completely destroying the turret. Oh no, he does get the turret. So I guess the idea is there, let's not start Herald, let him get that tier 2, get that gold, It's nice to see Eversio breathing a breath of fresh air, almost neutralizing the entire goal difference. And especially with their comp right now, they do need to be in this position. Brickum doing work on his team. Iglos, I'm not really sure the idea was he must not have known that Joe Verdes Azir was there. But yeah, going down in a bit of a quick way. Drakur does have teleport, he might teleport top, but I guess not, he will stay around mid lane. Fair enough. So
I
there
think
we
with the
go.
teleport nerfs, I don't think teleport's even fast enough to save that tower.
Yep. That will be a Herald in Gucci's hands though. They could use this to pressure the top lane tier 2 or the mid lane tier 2, return the favor. Bot lane tier 2 is also under siege, so Gucci really have a counter push going on here as Eversio had to catch a recall after that big play. We do see Brickon starting his recall. I'm wondering what item he goes for next. This could potentially be Sterak's Gauge here, and it does seem like he might be opting to build it. So it will be a
So
Sterak's
Gucci
Gauge.
actually choosing to take mid tier 1 and possibly mid tier 2. Uh, I will say I'm not entirely sure if this is the right call to make. I think if you're a Versio, you actually do not want, especially this tier 1, and in fact, they will not even lose the tier 2. I don't think you particularly want this tier 1 to be here, because it's just going to be continuously pushing these waves back into Gucci's side. If they can form just a tiny freeze for a few minutes under their mid tier 1 or mid tier 2 once they're safe, this could be a tiny bit of a gold swing, but it seems like Gucci is just not allowing that to happen, sending 4 members there saying, no, let it crash. We're going to look for the bounce, as they may also threaten here bot tier 2. I'm not sure. Let's see, 3 minutes and 30 seconds until the Drake spawns. I mean, both teams realistically here should chill out. If you're a Versio, you maybe want to try to find these small picks, maybe chunk them a bit for damage, even maybe get a cheeky kill here and there. But I think both teams here just don't realistically want to fight. They do want to for the next objective, and they do want to fight around it. As we do see 3 members of Gucci just reset and just say, you know what, it's fine. Let's back off and just wait for the objective to spawn. Yeah, there is possibly the chance that Eversio can turn this game around entirely at the next objective fight. If they get a nice pick, remember this Varus still does not have a defensive item, he can still be caught out. If they find a nice pick onto maybe a Varus or an Azir here and get a nice shutdown on one of their main carries, we could see a drastic gold swing, especially straight from one objective to another, since Atakan and Drake are spawning relatively close to each other. We'll have to see exactly what happens. It seems, just by the way the vision is being set up, that both teams are actually favoring the Ravenous Atakan. Ravenous, of course, being the one that provides the GA-like passive, as well as the plus 40 bonus gold on kills. Yeah, I mean, it seems like from the way these two teams are positioning, we're favoring the Atakan. We're not going to go for the Drake.
No real objective though to challenge it as well. This is the only thing up. Everyone has teleport as well, a bit more on Gucci's side, but doesn't really matter. So they will be just accepting waves at the moment. This is about the time where we could see a big turnaround in the match, whether it is on Gucci or Eversio's side. So both teams are aware of that, and both teams feel the pressure to not rush things along. Literally any misplay here could put the game in the favor of the other. So it's very important that both sides play this carefully and methodically. Atakan has been seen like more of a detriment sometimes to start it if you start it haphazardly. So it's perhaps best to give it a while and to wait until we can get to that point.
I agree. I think Atakan is definitely one of the most bait and I think throwing objectives. It's like, right, saw these Baron throws and are like, yeah, but what if we make an objective that's like 5 times worse to throw? And that seems to be Atakan. It does seem like both teams will basically say, neither of us want to start this Atakan. Let's just wait for the Drake fight, and whoever wins this gets it. If I am Gucci, though, the main question here is, do I want to start the Drake and invite Eversio into a fight? Or do I want to hover around, deny vision, and see if I can maybe find a pick before we start this Drake fight? As Chova right now is actually sitting on a ward, unbeknownst, as he does set up his recall. This most likely will be the last recall before the dragon fight. It does seem like every single member of Gucci is just getting ready to go for this Drake.
Yeah, that's a very tanky Maokai as well. He did go Torn Mail second, which is a bit curious because main damage will likely be this Gangplank or the Syndra, and both could be very dangerous to him. So let's see it play out here. Do we need Drakur and Iconic here to be maybe
Versio
poking it
has
out a
started the
bit, right?
streak. It is
Yeah.
half health. The GP ult does at least cut out their escapes, but will it be enough? Gucci is actually taking decent damage. The Barda does not realistically connect. Brickcoon is slightly in danger, does flash out. Fanwan is very low. The heal will barely save him from burning to death by the Blackfire Torch on the side of Drakor. And this is a 4v5. However, look at these ultimates. Ichari gets annihilated by this GP.
Oh no, the failed
But
smite
they
there.
do manage to secure the Drake. Awaken, meanwhile, a tiny bit caught out, but Clover just flashed in. Clover's out of position, and that will be a dead Azir shutdown going over to the GP. GP massive, getting a lot of kills, getting a lot of gold funneled into him.
Yeah,
It is a shame the brick.
Iglos did a lot there actually. His barrel starting off the fights did force a lot of damage on the remainder of Gucci. Yeah, really well played there by Iglos. Yeah, it's a shame that Brickon did go down in the end as well, as you're gonna say, or maybe the smite was perhaps 20 health at best off, and the Virus Q had happened to come in on time. It was a very close call indeed. But in the end, a lot of shutdowns going over to Eversio. Gold is now just 1k up. Two dragons, the slight advantage being those grabs and perhaps a tower here or there. But the right people are fed on the side of Eversio. We do see that Lord Dominic's is finished here on Iglos as second item. So we're gonna be seeing
And we are going for that full lethality GP. We are playing for this mid game as much as possible. We do not want to transition any later into the game with this comp. Very good read from Iglos, in my opinion. Very nice itemization. Meanwhile, it seems like Braccoon's taken on more of this sort of frontline damage soaker with this build, with the what's it called, the Sundered Sky and the Sterak's Gauge, which is respectable. I think it is a reasonable role that he can fill, and he was very tanking in that team fight, especially with his ultimate, being able to zone out a lot of the Azir and the Varus damage. Opting, this build over the Eclipse. Of course, the Eclipse would have maybe given him a stronger advantage in this early game, but I mean, at this stage of the game, I think it does provide quite a bit of value. This build over the Eclipse one, I mean.
Yeah, indeed. I'm quite curious as to what's his next item choice. Meanwhile, Iglos is of course gonna be potentially finishing off this Infinity Edge. Maybe next, or what's that? Oh, Yomu's Ghostblade. Never mind. Okay.
They are going. He's going full lethality. He's going full mid game.
Alright.
Of course,
alright.
will
Well,
maybe
he had enough damage
fall off
there
a tiny
already.
bit.
Wow. It's more this Azir that scares me. He's almost close to his Rabadons. Varus, though, despite being quite ahead, he's not dealing enough damage to keep up with what Everest are dishing out. I don't want to jinx it, but this might be it. This might be a game we can take home. They're looking a lot more confident today. Brickon doing a lot of work. Iglos doing a lot of work. Awaken, despite throwing himself at it, he's still well mannered, playing at his best.
That
here.
may be on me. I did say Awaken needs to awaken his inner Hylissang, and he's doing the wrong one. He's doing the playoffs Hylissang, not the world's Hylissang. My bad. As we do actually see, Ikari is not caught out, does respect, immediately runs away. The top side is where all the objectives are right now, both Baron and Atakan. So a very big prize pool for whoever wins this next team fight. Honestly, as Ikari does still have E, he will E away, does not get caught out. The Bard ult barely does not connect. Shin does not manage to ult Brickcoon over the wall, and that may save him. Iglos one-shots the Pike. Awaken is quite a bit low. Very nice little Ezreal out there, making them incredibly low. Question is here, will we try to take an objective, or will we simply respect the pick and just say, you know what, that's enough. We'll back off, continue to farm some waves, and look for an even better pick later on. Iconic does need to respect, but he does. Like you're saying, this Azir is dangerously close to his Rabadons. He is close to his 3-item spike, and he is entering his mid-game. It may be pretty dangerous, I'd argue. if this Azir manages to hit this random spike. Because while the Varus itself is not able to dish out enough damage, combine that with an Azir,
As
combine that with a
sorry to
spike
stop you a bit,
execute.
but oh, we might get Chover getting quite low. I do see in chat here mentioning that he was maybe he's either transferred from G2 or he's going to go to G2 soon. So this guy, this Azir is definitely a player to look out for as well in this match. But I think
And he has
Darkur did
played
really well
incredibly
into him, huh?
consistently. I think Jakor played really well into him, to be honest. He did give over a bit of CS around the sort of early mid, when they were around like both 110, 120 CS. But I mean, I think that's understandable with the Fed Varus roaming mid. I think he definitely held his own. I will say that much. So
Yeah.
we do see a bit of playing around with this Drake. We do see the Syndra TP, so this will be in fact a 5v5, but Bracoon does get engaged on a bit early before the Syndra can TP in. Nice little hook by the Pike, does actually manage to get them in. Chover is caught out. Will this be a CC? It's not able to be enough. The Cassante will run in, does start run random. Bracoon will die to the Leandri burn, but the Cassante will be traded over. Now they are all really low. Maokai is looking for this flank. Blast Fruit is in. This may be Awaken also going down. It is. And I think this may very well be Soul Point for the side of Gucci.
That
A
Maokai
bit of
tanking a
a
lot of
not so great
damage
fight.
and allowing time for his team to re-engage. A lot of cooldowns were down from the side of Eversio. The Bard ult from Awaken did stop their main damage threats, but sadly it was not able to be followed up. We really need to focus down this Azir Varus before these fights start off, or get the poke in. We don't really fairware in a straight up engage. So whoever called Brickcone to straight up engage there, it was not the best play. They definitely want to poke them out before going in on like that. Like I mentioned in the draft, Chi have a fantastic um, team fight here. They have the Maokai has a very wide spread of CC. Azir huge damage across the board, and he will find CC to lock people down to help him get that damage off. Varus is similar to Maokai. He's going to have that secondary engage, and the Cassante, as we saw there, he can freely engage while all that CC is going down, deal out a ton of damage to the front line, back line, every line. He's just such a strong champion in general, especially with the help he's getting from his team. Ichari though does fall a huge amount of damage coming out of Drakor. He does finish Rabadons just prior to that moment as well. And Bricoon now deciding to start this Atakan. The remainder of Eversio is here. So that's a bit better of how we want to play this comp out. We do remove Pike from the match. Now is it enough that we can start and take this Atakan? Let's see.
I doubt this is enough to start the Atakan, but they may be simply inviting a fight, trying to bait it in. We do see the Varus flash does come out. Awaken is forced to flash himself, but that is a lot of time wasted for the side of Gucci. Will this be enough? Will this misposition, now that they've had to play around the Bard, be enough for them to finish Atakan? And it is, which means they do not have the GA. They are able to go absolutely crazy. Zaconic is, of course, playing super aggressive. This GA like passive. I'm not sure what it's called. I think it's called like Atakan's gift or something like that. Is able to, of course, allow Eversio to play as aggressive as they want with mild repercussions. The Baron is still up. It means that if they do all die, that will still probably be a Baron to the side of Gucci. However, equal trades in kills now are actually net positive for the side of Eversio, especially if it doesn't exactly eliminate a priority target who needs to be there in the team fight. So this is probably going to allow Awaken to play more aggressive. It's going to allow Bracoon to play more aggressive. However, of course, you do have a set amount of time while this buff is active. Will we see Eversio actually able to capitalize on it, actually able to use it, and actually able to find these picks and team fights that they need? And it does seem like they're trying to look for one right now. Ikari does seem like to be the easiest person to catch out in this game, and so it does look like they will be looking for a kill on this spike. Iconic, of course, making sure the mid lane is shoved out. So if this fight breaks out and they win it, they can end the game here and now. They do Gucci do respect.
I really like,
yeah,
and I really like that the Eversio are backing off here. We're not engaging yet. It's a good idea for them to start objectives and wait for Gucci to come and get poked down and sort of find those moments. Zinzao and Gangplank will be doing this Drake very quickly, and Syndra and Ezreal can poke out. Seeing that Gucci did decide to push here, Eversio decided to take the recall and help out Iconic here. Oh, a big out here from Awaken does miss though, as Trover dashes out freely, showing his prowess on this Azir champion. So at the moment here, Drakur is having a perfect game though. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. Baron is going to be up next. Gucci are also sitting on soul point at the moment, so this next dragon is gonna be the like ticking timer for this game most likely. This next Drake can cause a chain of events that could lead to the victory of this game. As Baron is up, and that dragon will force both sides to play very aggressively towards it. Yeah, let's have a look. Both mid-tier towers are almost down. So yeah, any win in any either direction could spell the end of this match if enough people are left unchecked within the team fight. Just curious to see here. We do see Iglos on that BF sword, so he will be saving up until Infinity Edge. Just curious if he will be able to get it just before this dragon, but we'll have to wait and see. Shall
This
we?
may be a nice little catch onto Shin, but the real question is, do they have enough damage to burst out Xante? Xante goes all out, does become, of course, squishy, but is able to turn a lot of fire back onto Eversio, but Shin may have taken off more than he can actually chew, and that will be another kill for Iglos. Nice catch. Will this be an objective? Now the question is, Drake is coming up. Baron is available. Will we see an Iglos reset into a 4v5 dragon fight? And with the pings, it does seem to be, yep, let's go for Drake. Let's deny Soul. Let's try to go for Soul Point. It is a reasonable play. Hopefully they can find a few kills here, because we have to keep in mind, just looking at normalized scalings, the team of Gucci does outscale at around this point. So we have to find the fight right now, as Fan 1 does get ulted. Ikari is very low, does get bursted, and that is a 2 people dead over this Drake. Fan 1 does still have a chance to steal it. However, that may end up resulting in throwing away the Baron. So now you have a question. Would I rather not get Soul, but give up Baron? And it does look like they are willing to just not get the Soul. But
Yeah,
make sure that this
answered.
Baron will not be taken. There you go. Question answered immediately.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So Baron will go into the side of Versa. I'm really loving this from them, playing that nice fast-paced tempo that we're used to seeing them. They're sort of catching up now, starting to realize like what the best optimal play is. It's really taking them some time, 5 games to be exact, but I'm really starting to see it now. This is the first real game I'm seeing them against good challengers, and they're having good choices all across the board. Let's see how this next Baron fight goes. They will need to sustain this momentum until the next Drake, or potentially the next few minutes, as Baron is going to get started. Huge damage just from that Azir alone. It's taking a third of its health in a matter of seconds there. They really need to be careful if they
A
allow
bit of a
it to-
desperation Baron started by Gucci. I mean, they are afraid of the possible tempo that is going to be generated by the side of Eversio here, as they'll actually start the Baron themselves. Fan 1 does manage to check with the Maokai E. Chover barely not caught out by Drakur. That may have been a game-winning catch. As Chover does manage to ult, it only connects with Raccoon. Chover actually forced to flash out himself. However, lots of flashes forced out from the side of Eversio. Iconic will be engaged on, and this may be a dead AD carry. The Bard ult does manage to catch 2, while
Incredible
Iconic's not even
counterplay
dead.
there by Eversio. Iconic flashing, barriering out. As meanwhile, Iglos returns the favor on Echari with a huge face call from Awaken to stop the remaining of the engage there by Gucci. Such a fantastic play of events, hard to predict as well. Eversio really kicking things into hyperdrive, as they want to play for this Baron. They do not want to give up. They're tired of losing. They really want to find a good pick here, a good win, and they desperately need it. They are showing us why they are Malta's best. Oi.
As we do go into 40 minutes, again, one thing we have to keep in mind, as the items keep going up and up and up for both sides, Eversio will slowly have a bit of a harder and harder time to really find these fights. But these Bardots and these little micro movements from Iconic, just dodging out these small abilities, looking for these small advantages, I mean, they are honestly putting in quite a lot of work. Iglos, of course, always managing to find these barrels, mostly on Ikari, managing to trade the kill back or even getting a kill for nothing. It's these small things that I think Eversio is usually known for, is these team plays, is these concise small team fights into a high tempo straight into an objective that I think we've all been kind of waiting for and hoping to see from the side of Eversio, and I'm glad I'm seeing it. It feels like they're back. It feels like we're back.
Yeah.
However, of course, it still is anyone's game. That said, the scales are slowly tipping on the side of Gucci. So will we see one last fight that hopefully secures us either the win or at least a Baron?
It's really Chover at this point. Like the remainder of Gucci will go down if Chover gets insta bursted at some point or another. I think all champions on a versus side can kind of hold their own, as opposed to maybe Gucci's side where this Azir is going to be a pinnacle point. We've seen Pike go down in a matter of seconds in every fight, so he's not really a problem. He's basically an auto attack and Q from Iglos away from death. Meanwhile, though, the Cassante is a bit of an issue, but his damage isn't really threatening at the moment. It's really that Azir that's gonna be dealing heavy damage from the side of Gucci. Varus, you know, he has a Q every now and then that does deal significant damage, but it's not gonna be the main decider of a team fight. So I'd like to see that Eversio here can start things a bit more aggressively and maybe find that pick on Azir before the fight starts.
I think the main issue is that the Gucci's comp has so much disengage and anti-engage from the side of the Varus ult, the Maokai ult, the Maokai Q, the Maokai W. Cassante, just as a champion, is a very annoying champion to engage into. And so it may sort of enable this Azir to sort of one for nine. But like you're saying, if they find a catch onto Chover, I'm pretty sure they can just take this game home. So we'll have to see. Will Awaken land an amazing Bard ult? Will be possibly get a nice flank from Brickcoon or Eyegloss? Or will Drakor land a huge Scattered Awake? I mean, there's a lot of ways in which this can go for in our favor, and there's a lot of ways in which this can't. So I mean, it is still definitely a close game.
Not really sure what's going on. The game did freeze up on us. Okay,
Oh, and
something.
we're back.
A small hiccup. Time paradox. Alright, back in black. Dragon is gonna be coming up here. It's a soul point for both sides, so both sides will be fighting aggressively towards it. Good to note here, Trover on Azir is level 18 and has 4 out of his 5 items. Awaken lands a huge ult on him though.
Bard
Trover-
ult does land. Eyegloss is preparing the barrel. He's not able to connect it with Chover. Eyegloss is actually caught out himself.
Oh, that's a big loss here for Eversio. They definitely did not want to overcommit to that point. For Chover, he's still at full health here. Just missing his, not even flashing away a basic ability. So this is really a tough loss for them, especially before this dragon. Eyegloss is such a huge damage dealer on his team side. It should have been Xin Zhao that was there, but I'm not really sure what went on there. A dragon will be started now by Gucci, while Eversio are going to try and flip the Baron here. This could spell the end of the game, guys. I'm really sad to say so, but it could be the case if we overcommit. But Eversio do back off and decide not to do so. Awaken on an adventure, collecting all his little chimes and the in Gucci's base. Let's see.
It does seem like Gucci will just group and try to force down a few towers, maybe even possibly an inhib. They may also just take a tower and try to force down this bear. Now, Eyegloss is up. He does have TP. He does not have ult. If we look at the ultimates on the side of Gucci, they are all up and they are all ready to fight. Conic, of course, does not have his ult, but again,
They will not be ready
around.
for this Baron to be at half health already. It's almost down already. Brickcoon falling very dangerously low. He will get taken down. A Baron regenerating almost all its health, but the Eversio are missing a jungler now at this point. Eyegloss is here. His damage is appreciated, but at the moment, Gucci are not really going down easily. So it is that Chover dealing so much damage. For some reason, the
What
game
is going
freezes
on?
again, man. Come on, it's such a key point in the game. Can we not handle a single spectate in 40 minutes or something? Is that a problem?
Rito games. Now, there is argument that Eyegloss can land a very nice chunking barrel combo into a very nice Scattered Away from Drakor. However, this is a very difficult situation to come back from, and this is what I meant. Gucci has just such strong disengage, and their tanks are just becoming so difficult to deal with.
Oh,
Realistically,
imagine-
the only people who can
Imagine
deal
Drakor
damage.
flash outs Chover here and presses E. And the Awaken stuns him against Shin. That could have been a huge play. Iconic also has an angle here. Oi, oi.
That's also.
They
If,
just
if Awaken gets a
insta-burst him.
Q here into Drakor, maybe just instantly flashing onto the Azir, I mean, I guess it could work. His Banshees is in fact down. I like how they're just giving us time, you know. They're letting us like guess
Cook.
and figure out what's gonna happen in the
Yeah,
game.
and then I think Earth is gonna come on the map and finish the game.
Yeah.
The big man.
And then I think the Shaco steals the Baron.
Whoopie. Yup. But is it, like, have we lost the game? Is it because maybe the game finished and everyone left or something like that? I don't know. This is troublesome. I'm gonna give it. Let's see. We'll give it 3 minutes, okay? Until 40, 21, 40. And if not, I will exit and spectate again until the 40 to 54 mark.
And can you spectate custom games again?
Yes, I hope so. Blaze the blaze, I'm. Oh,
Average riot jank.
come on, man. What if I pause it and I play it? Does it do anything?
And we are back.
No, I just
No,
rewinded it.
did you pause it, rewind it?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Let's see. No, we are indeed not back. Man,
It's over.
what went on here? Let's see. It might be because the game finished. Yeah, let me see if I can get it up again. No. Oh, wait. Wait. I might be able to finish it. Or not. One second. 42,
It's right
54.
before the fucking game deciding Baron, man.
Yes. Oh boy. Well. So let me close my client and I should be able to bring this up again. Rest assured we will indeed finish this match. I will not let you guys down. It's so nerve wracking. We were at the last parts of this game. It's very hard to see. So
Knowing the state the game was in, it does not bode well. I'll say that much.
let's not share my login details. Bye. Yuppa.
Please put in Janssen's username and password for a free account.
No free account. Leave my account alone, please. Thank you. Mela, it's loading up. Alright.
Worst case,
A lot
we
of lag
we
on
ask
the
what
right
happened, and then worst case we ask what happened, and then you have to draw it in paint, you know, to visualize it.
That's not worst case, that's like I'd rather not. That's worse than worst case. That's horrible, man. It's pure torture for our dear viewers.
Can you see custom games in match history? That's the thing I doubt.
We're
You
we're
can.
about to find out.
Let us see.
Oh wait, I mean, it's like how much? So it's because it's tournament draft probably.
Worst case, we watch one of iGloss's ranked flex games.
I'll see if we can get a quick replay file. It is what it is, right? What do you guys think? Do you guys think Eversio won, or did Gucci win? Those that are still tuned in. Yeah, the game is over, but we don't know who won, right? So
There's definitely not a giant defeat on top of the.
you could where
100%.
no, they can't see. No one can see anything. Oh,
Oops.
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 Yeah, it's always written like that.
Oh, is it always?
Mela,
Okay.
mela. Replay found. Queuing up for download. Oi, oi, oi. But it doesn't want to give it to me. How cruel.
Riot Games.
We'll figure this out. Grantless is not feeling too good. Ay, ay, ay. Yes, after what Nano just said, I have bad feelings too. But let's see. But no, it should be okay. We can find out soon when we get the replay. If anyone from Team Eversio would be kind enough to share the replay, por favor. But I was in the lobby as well, man. Why don't let me? I was spectating. Dum, dum. Alright guys, maybe I will act it out. So this is Barin and this is Eversio. And they shoot Azir. Azir he died, and then Aiglos came from behind and he hit them with his knife. He put a barrel, he shoot the barrel, the whole team died. Drakur teleported to mid lane and he three shot the tower. He picked it up with W and he threw it on top of the Nexus. Alright, so it seems like I'm not the
But
only one
then-
with the replay issues. Even people in the lobby have trouble. Okay, so we really can't see it apparently, but yeah. So that's how the game went, and Bricoon as well.
But then,
Uh-huh.
worst case scenario,
Uh-huh.
the Kassadin backdoored.
Wait. He's hitting the Nexus. Hitting the Nexus. Oh no, another champion is
Oh,
coming.
no.
He rift walks, and he comes back behind it, hitting the Nexus. There we go.
You are null and void.
Alright. Let's cut to the chase. So yeah, since we can't watch the replay, I am informed that it was sadly a loss for Eversio. It looked so promising. I can only imagine that they tried to get the Baron, must have misplayed it somehow and fallen, and then there was a big push down mid lane and the game ended. I would imagine that was the case.
I will say though, I mean, in my opinion, Eversio has at least regained to some extent their standing. I think this game has gone a lot better than the previous games, even if it did end up being a loss. And I think definitely sort of like well played and sort of coming back, still staying positive from the sort of debilitating early game with those the double kill that happened. Man, I mean, it's a shame. It's a shame that it ends up being a lot. Small misplay with the Bardalt and the GP getting caught out, but I still think it's a really good effort. I think it's a valiant effort from Eversio, and I think if the games continue like this, wins will eventually come in.
Yeah, better luck next time, our heroes in blue. We will never let you down. We will keep supporting you. Hopefully, we can get the next win. I think it was a bigger improvement for sure. We haven't seen a 40-minute game in so long, and as mentioned, the enemy team was no slouch. They are all equally very good players. I mean, we're talking about a Grandmaster and very high masters compared to our lineup. We need to maybe practice a bit more. But with all that said, overall a very good standing here from Eversio. I'm excited to see them the next time. Keep in mind for all our viewers, Monday and Thursdays to tune in. We have the last few remaining games of UKAL Division 1, which will be casted, so don't miss out. We still need to get at least 1 or 2 more wins. That would be the ideal state. So let's see if we can get that going. Nano, any further comments for this game?
I mean, like I said before, valiant effort, guys. Definitely, I think from the 6 games that you've played, from the 4 that I've seen, there has been a definite improvement. I think this game was played a lot better than the last ones, and I think definitely, I think you're finding your footing again. Uh, Honestly, unlucky. Good luck next time. I'm not even kidding. Like unsarcastically, like 100%. Obviously, there's always ways to improve, but yeah, I'm like you're saying. Since comparing just the individual ranks, I think Eversio is honestly really holding their own. I think they're honestly really giving a fighting chance. So yeah, hopefully, like I said, we just improve from here and it just wins.
Yep, definitely the case. And this time it was with Drakur, so they are a bit more confident with him, and I think he played spectacularly, considering he did have that break recently as well. So yeah, looking forward to seeing more out of them, and yeah, thank you for everyone that keeps on tuning in when we have these streams for Eversio for the support. I also saw that in the chat. I saw it a bit late. There was Sequela, one of the admins for UKL, helping us out. Thank you for the opportunity. Mihaya, thanks for helping me with the title as well. Good to see you in the chat here, and generally here, getting carried by Grant Lesson living in the chat. Well done. Thank you for your activity. Ducky Warrior, salute to you too. Good night to everyone. Thanks for joining, and we'll see you all back on Monday. Oh, bye.